Hello and welcome to the Road to Rec League podcast. My name's Callum, and in today's episode, I'm going to be catching up on how I've been progressing this week so far and my contributions to the score sheet. Okay, so another week and a very productive week in terms of contributions to the score sheet, as I mentioned there briefly. For scrimming anyway, because I think I've talked about this in the past, like in terms of games, probably a little bit away off yet, but training with the team that I'm registered with, who have league games, and managing to contribute in some of those training scrims, and they're usually pretty high intensity. We do a pretty good job of that, and a couple of other sessions too. So it's been a busy one. Three sessions this week. So we'll go through each of them sort of chronologically, and then talk a little bit about sort of health and fitness stuff at the end. I think just because I've not turned a corner drastically, but just picked up a couple of things that I can maybe take forward and use in future weeks as well. So it all started with my sort of learn to play sessions, the adult learn to play sessions. I've not been in a while, and actually it was really cool to go back after, let's say, like a month or so of not doing it, and sort of see where I was in terms of competitiveness. You know, my skating level, my stick handling level, compared to where I started. So when I kicked this process off last August, you know, not long before I started this podcast as well, my skating was obviously in the bottom 10%. My stick handling was probably middle of the road. My decision making was probably middle of the road, and the overall contributions were in the lower half, I would suggest, limited mostly by my skating. And while I'm not, you know, comfortably doing crossovers in game situations, or even massively comfortably doing them anywhere, I can skate backwards, but I don't do it a stack and all that sort of good stuff. While that skating is still a limitation, my forward skating, stopping, starting, speed, you know, I'm actually winning races to pucks instead of losing races to pucks, and that's just drastically different from where I was just 5 months ago, you know, which I'm really proud of, really pleased with, and there's a lot I can take from that and be happy with. So really cool to sort of re-benchmark against my former self. Now, during the session we did passing and stick handling drills. Really nice to do that for a change. So passing underneath some gates, skating up to some sort of obstacles, skating around them, firing like 1-2 passes back. So lots of movement, lots of short passes, things like that, working on touch, which is great. I mean, any puck touch is a really good opportunity to learn. And so got a lot from those drills, which was good. And then we jumped into a scrim, and it was great. Like I say, a lot more competitive than usual for myself than you know, sort of August, September, October time last year. Sort of driving the ice, being communicative, trying to push people, which was awesome. Like, I really enjoyed that. And I feel like I'm taking on more of a communicative role in that space as well. So before I'd be quite timid, not say anything, not talk about passes, and stuff like that. And yeah, now I'm sort of calling for the puck, trying to help dictate play. And in drills, I'm trying to be a bit more vocal and a bit more, come on guys, we've got to do it this way. And, you know, I'm trying to be intense in the drills to make people, you know, follow suit rather than just float by. You know, I work hard, because that's the time you get on ice, right? So yeah, then we come around to the scrimming, which was cool. So I sort of played in the middle of the ice for most of it. I found myself sort of drifting towards the center role, and had a couple of nice plays, which was cool. So passing was crisp. And one of the things I really enjoyed was a dump and chase. So I sort of flipped it from, I guess, around about the red line, in behind the defenders. Myself and another chap sort of forechecked, and that was the first time I've done like an organised forecheck of any kind, really, and it generated, you know, some possession, and ended up passing it around to another chap off the boards, and it sort of died eventually. But and there were no goalies, unfortunately, in this scrim, which was a shame. But in terms of goals, managed to grab an empty netter. I will say it's like quite chaotic, and because you've got people there from like who have, like me 5 months ago, was on the ice for the first time sort of thing, all the way up to people who've been doing it for, say, 2 years. That's the kind of bracket you've got. You've got people who, it kind of gets a bit messy and cluttered around pucks and stuff like that. But there's a young chap who's got absolute wheels on a line I was on for a shift, and so sort of outlet pass to him. He chased it down, got behind the goal line, passed it back to me in front of the net, and I scored. So that was a cool little play, sort of like a chip and chase kind of thing with this guy, which was nice. And like I say, just some good defensive efforts generally as well. Sticks in lane, stuff like that, back checking, making a big effort. It was enjoyable. I think, so I've got a session again tomorrow for this, and then I'm going to start going, I think, or trying to go to like harder sessions on Sundays where I can. So if my working week allows me to, then I'll go up to the Cardiff session instead, because they every now and again they'll do a Sunday session. It's quite fun. It's a little bit more fast paced. And I think I'm going to start to get more from those sessions than I am the Adult Learn to Play. But it's still really important, I think, for me to do the occasional thing, just the benchmarking thing, and time and space to work on a few other details. So that was a really nice way to start the training week, I suppose, on a Sunday. And then I went off to the Rec League team Wednesday session, which was awesome. So we did half ice warm up for warm up and drills, because they were doing some like a cool little promo video and photo shoot on the other side of the ice for the team. I wasn't in it. I didn't have my kit. I have my white jersey because that's the color I was assigned for the training session on. So I didn't get any sort of fancy images, but there was a cool little promo video that involves me like deking a guy in there. It's a very, very quick clip, and sort of chasing a puck down and getting involved. So it was cool to see myself in that light and blending in loosely, even though I do look a bit awkward still out there. So we did that. So obviously just a general warm up, get loose, bit of stretching, just puck touches for me. That's why I basically pass the boards, get it back, skate for a bit, turn left, turn right. Get loose, get comfortable, rotate my upper half while I'm skating. And so we did 3-on-3 rolling attacker defender. So sort of 3 people defending the zone, 3 people attacking the zone, and then the 3 people that were attacking become the defenders of the next sort of set, if you like. And so we did that for a while, switched to 4-on-4, did a quick 2-on-2, and we also did some cross-ice passing as well. So full width of the ice, trying to source them every now and again, and just working on, effectively, we would pass to each other. So it'd be 2 pucks cross-ice at the same time. And I had a good time doing that. That was really good fun. Definitely need to work a little bit on some of the longer passes. I feel like short passes I'm pretty good at. And I think like getting the weight right, I'm fine for like softer passes. I think in terms of like real hard tape-to-tape passes, my accuracy depletes slightly. But in terms of just getting, because like I find sometimes people pass it a little too aggressively, or like a little too far in front or a little too far behind. I feel like judging the weight of when someone's going to skate onto something, I get quite right. It's like a drop pass kind of thing. But the aggressive tape-to-tape stuff could probably be worked on. And then we went into a scrim, and I've talked about scoring my first goal. It was 4-on-4, like a couple weeks back now, I think. And that was really cool. Like getting that backhand, top corner kind of goal was awesome. I actually scored my first 5-on-5 goal during training. It was the first goal of the game. It was our team ended up winning the scrim 3-0, so technically it was a game winner. And it was about being in the right place at the right time. Finding basically it was the hash marks right center circle. Just fired a shot towards goal, ended up 5-hole on the goalie, and it went in, like puck to the net. Good, positive result. Can't complain. I was really happy with that. And it was a fairly decent release as well. It wasn't too wet. It was like a proper. It just didn't get a lot of elevation, like maybe like an inch or 2 off the ground. But yeah, I was pretty pleased with that. It got it on net quickly. It was a quick release, so can't complain. And alongside that, there were some other good plays as well. And I actually had a really good conversation with someone afterwards. So I was complimented on my forecheck, because I show intent, right? I'm not the best skater, but I try and close the gap. I try and take away people's passing lanes in the offensive zone as well. And I've got no problem doing that. I quite like it, actually, being overly aggressive. I do think it means that occasionally I get hung out to dry a little bit, because it's not everyone forechecking together. It's not like a system thing. But for me, it's the right thing to be doing. It's closing down gaps. It's trying to make decisions harder for defensemen. And I actually broke up 3 plays. 3 breakout passes from defensemen or forwards in their own zone. With my stick, 2 of which led to scoring chances, 1 of which led to a goal. So it's the kind of thing where I feel like I'm doing the right sorts of things in that respect. Being able to break up plays, it just feels like a really good positive thing. Downside to that, I did have 3 giveaways. So for everyone I earned, I threw one away. I was trying to be a bit clever with some passing a couple of times and just basically ended up fumbling it. So not the best decision making on one of them, poor execution on one, and I think one was more just of like a didn't really see. It was more like not having the foresight, I think. So not necessarily the worst decision, but not the best decision. So a bit of both on one of them, I guess. But one was just a poorly executed pass that should have been good. And the next one, I passed it, and as soon as I passed it, I was like, "Fuck, that was the wrong choice," and started trying to skate back to cover some ground because I could see what was about to happen. And the good news is, again, I kind of covered that off and took away a passing lane off my own giveaway, but shouldn't have given it away in the first place. We were in the ozone, and that was I came away obviously happy about the goal, but probably honestly more frustrated about the fact that I gave away that pass. Like I still think about it now. And this is a training scrim. So other good things that went well from that. I actually earned another shot on goal, but whiffed it, and I was so miffed because I had the confidence to puck handle essentially. Basically, ended up receiving a pass, sort of, let's say, top of the dot, maybe a little bit further actually, maybe outside of the face-off circle. And I carried the puck in, and I could see the way the defender was going as well. So both defenders were going as I'm attacking the net, right to left, and so I sort of showed forehand and brought it to my showed backhand, brought it to my forehand side, cut in, found a gap, and then went to shoot and just whiffed the shot. And I was so annoyed because I played that play right. Like, I found the space. I created an opportunity for myself to get a really good shot on goal and just fucked it, basically, which is a shame. But I'm really proud that I created that opportunity. There was a pass option as well, but I pass quite a lot. I defer quite a lot, so I wanted to be a bit more shot first, and unfortunately I just whiffed it. But did the right kind of thing. Other things I can take away, I'm quite happy passing back to D, and I think it's something that in a rec league situation, it seems like people aren't always comfortable doing that. So I maybe had like 3-4 passes back to lefty a few times actually, to try and create some opportunities, create some space, get involved. And I wasn't afraid to do that in the circumstance to reload for an offensive sort of like breakout. So that was good. Really pleased with that. And I'm not the best at it, but I tried to stretch the wings when I was out wide. I do need to get better at just posting up and also receiving passes out wide. I feel like I might put myself in the right place there, but I don't always do the best thing with it. Whereas if I'm up the middle, I feel like my decision making tends to be a little bit better. But my skating's probably not there to be a C. So not yet anyway. We'll get there. Things I need to keep working on, executing my vision. So when I come up with an idea that I think is the right thing to do, I just need to work on doing it with conviction. I think sometimes I second guess myself a little bit. And just general fitness. So I was starting to struggle a bit towards the end. And I think it's really showing now that I'm getting better at skating and I can ask more of myself. I'm getting more tired. Whereas before, my legs could only carry me so fast. So I wasn't putting that cardio burden on myself. Now I'm starting to feel the impact of skating hard because I can skate hard rather than, my top speed is higher than it was. My sustained efforts are higher than they are. I'm stopping quicker than I was. So I'm asking more of my body, and I think I need to keep that fitness going. All in all, though, really good session, really enjoyable, great room great atmosphere in the room. Absolutely love those sessions. Like they're the highlight of my week in many respects. So I want to keep doing those. Obviously, I want to keep committing to those and enjoying that process. And then lastly, the sort of like Friday lunchtime session, which was great. So again, I'm not registered with this group of people. It's more like an open training session at a Friday lunchtime. And it's the first time I've gone back-to-back goals, 5-on-5 against a goalie. So managed to put one in just before we wrapped up at the end of the session. Proper greasy goal, net front, blue paint sort of stuff. But I was in that session frequently going to that part of the ice. And so this was like maybe with 30 seconds left of the session. Guy wraps around the back of the net, pops it centre. Obviously, the goalies had to respect the wraparound, and the pass comes to me, and the goalie can't move quick enough, and I just pop it in the right corner. In fact, it goes off the inside of the post, and I was a little bit nervous, I'm not going to lie. As I saw it slowly trickling towards the post, I was like, oh no, please go in. And it did. So technically scored in 3 straight, although the first one I won't really count because it wasn't against a goalie. So I scored in 2 straight now, like 5-on-5, which I'm really happy with. And on that day, really productive day. So we spent most of the day playing 4-on-4 just because of numbers, and then went to 5-on-5 for the last 10 minutes. I ended up with, obviously, that goal. I actually had, I think it was like 3 or 4 shots on goal as well. Maybe 3. No, I think it was 4, actually. So I had one from like the top of the dot, and it was a proper wrister. Like, it was top left corner, and it was a good blocker save. Or it might have even come off the stick, actually. But it was like a proper shot. The guy said shoot, and I shot, and it turned out quite well, actually. All things considered, Then I had, excuse me, I had an enclosed blue paint, shovel it against the goalie's pads to try and sneak it in, sort of thing. And like that was a greasy one, but didn't go in. Had the goal, and then I think also I managed to generate an opportunity from like right side of the net. I think I talked about that where I scored my first goal from, and like where I found opportunities. Again, shots on goal is important for me. There was another shot attempt that went quite far wide, but I was pleased with it. I also had 2 assists, so I was able to set up a couple of guys on breakaways. Basically, we've got some of the guys there on my team were good skaters and good finishers, and so I was able to make an outlet pass to them and create space by being an attacking option. So there was a couple of 2-on-1s where basically I made a pass, they skated it forward and scored, but because I was present, like I guess people had to respect the pass option. So I was really pleased with that. So in terms of that, was like in the scrim. Those were 4-on-4, incidentally. More plays, breaking up plays with my stick as well. I managed to bat one out of the air, really pleased with that. And Again, get in passing lanes, slow people down, just take away options. So defensively, the game's coming together, which is great. We practiced basically horseshoes, so just regular horseshoes, 2-on-1, and then into scrim. I was absolutely knackered though, because although we switched to 5-on-5 at the end, basically for 4-on-4 we had 2 rolling defensive pairs, 2 rolling offensive lines. So we were basically at a position where when we went to 5-on-5, there was 1 forward like off, and everyone else was rotating, or maybe 2 for a period with 3 forwards on, and it was exhausting, like utterly exhausting. But great workout. So I came away absolutely shattered, but it was really good fun. And they're a really great bunch. So again, like I find I perform better when I'm in an environment where people are positive and happy. I think most people are like that, but I notice it when I'm in that kind of space where I can be myself. I can be myself on the ice as well, which is great. So yeah, like a really good week actually. So going from taking me from August to now, or August to like, was it just over December to score a goal? So like 4 months to score a goal, and in the last week I've had 2 in 2 sessions. I think there's something to take from that confidence to get in there. The shot is getting better as well, actually. Like I've noticed I've got a bit more zip on it these days, forehand. So I actually feel like I can be a shooting threat rather than always having to defer. And even if I miss, or like I can shoot low and get something off the pads, and then there's a rebound for the guy who's driving the net after. That was something else actually in that Friday session. I spent a couple of shifts basically posted up in front of the goalie. Like I was screening blue paint kind of stuff. What did I say? Get to the hard areas, all that sort of stuff. So I spent my time there for a good number of shifts actually. And there was one occasion where like one of the newer players was defending me and trying to remove me the screen. And I got really low and I really had squat legs and they couldn't shift me. And so one of the experienced players was like, don't worry, I've got this guy instead. And he really struggled to shift me as well. And I mean, he pushed me away and like I circled back around again and pitched up somewhere else. And it was really good, but like it was really cool to be able to resist like getting pushed off the screen and sort of stuff like that, and being able to really squat and put myself in that place of like, actually, I'm not going to move. I'm going to screen the goalie, and like my tip ended up coming off my own skate after my stick, which was really annoying on that sort of attempt, if you like. But I was in the right areas. I was creating space and lanes, and someone recognised that and put a shot on net while I was screening the goalie. So did all the right kind of things. Just got to keep doing more of that, and it works. Screening the goalie works. Getting in the defensive face works. So I think, yeah, crashing the blue paint a bit more is not going to hurt me. If anything, it's probably got to be part of my game, because skating is... I can't skate the perimeter like other guys can, so I'm going to have to be more direct. But that was really good. So that was all my practice. All my practice for the week. Unfortunately, going ahead, I haven't got a lot booked for this week. I've got Adult Learn to Play today, and that's it, because work's a bit busier. So I'm going to try and find opportunities to go public skating to work on some technique, because I want to start being better at slowing down on my weak side. And I could just do with an hour at the rink, basically, just to work on that. So I need to find some time in the week, some dedicated skating time to work on that technique, I think. And it will give me a bit of an opportunity to work on some cardio fitness as well, and not really stress too much about skating conflict. And then from the beginning of February, just really work on a plan to be able to make sure that I have got 2 sessions a week and be really robust about it. And try and get a third in if I can, and if I can't, make sure I've got fitness stuff going on. Because I think we talked a lot about having this thing for accountability, and that's important to me. This podcast keeps me accountable, which is great. And I just think I need to keep pushing that and keep finding ways to improve my game. I'd love to be able to record more of my stuff, review my footage, analyze my decision making in real time, or playing it back. Sorry, because in the moment you can make a decision, you can think it's the right thing, but if you're not seeing things that are there, or actually if you go, if I just looked up a second earlier, or I just made that, or had the thought of that player could be there, I can start to read the game better that way. So I really want to start doing that, but that does require someone being there to film and stuff like that. So it's a bit of an effort. But like I say, really good session for hockey. Now off the ice, in terms of health and fitness stuff, like it's not massive, but my eating habits have gotten slightly better. I'm eating a bit more fruit than I used to. I'm sort of looking after myself a little bit more in terms of what goes in and what comes out, which is really good. And I'm trying to build up some good habits and hydration. I'm having some daily like multivitamin stuff now, which is going to be helpful. I'm really focused on hydrating during games, and I'm having like 2 bottles, one with a rehydration tablet, one with just water. So I'm really focused on trying to remove blockers from limiting progress. My weight isn't coming down drastically. I'm still eating probably a little bit too much, but I'm just trying to do what I can with the capacity that I have. bearing in mind it takes me I do 6 hours of driving a week just to try and get to rinks and back. So it's an interesting. I have to do an episode of like my week in time sort of thing, like a time in motion study. But that's it for this one. I think last week I talked a bit about wanting to talk more about the jets. I think there'll be more interesting stuff to talk about when it comes to the Olympic break. So I might actually do a proper Jets episode during the Olympic break, where I think they're at heading into the trade deadline. Because Arnie's presser against Detroit last night was a doozy. Looks like a minute of him saying everything was embarrassing and then walking out. So, which is great. And I have to say, I love seeing someone fired up like that. I think it's great. It's what they do with it and what management sees. I think Arnie's fed up with the roster he's got. I think, I think Jets sort of front office need to take a look at how they've constructed this lineup and what they're going to learn from, and sort of what, like I said in episodes prior, what's the strategy? What's the 5-year plan? Because if you haven't got one of those, you're gonna make some pretty poor decisions today for tomorrow. So, we'll see how it goes. But like I say, I think I'll do a proper full-on episode over the Olympic break. Until then, though, and until next week, that's it. So obviously all the usual. If you want to leave a follow, rate, subscribe, like, all the things that happen on the various different platforms this gets posted, that would be really helpful. And hope you all have a wonderful week. So until next time, bye for now.